What's going on, brothers? Sean Pierce Johnson here with this week's edition of Stompbox Saturday. And that little bit of 80s wrestling nostalgia was brought to you by what we have on the Stompin' Block today. It is the Walrus Audio Iron Horse V2 Distortion pedal. You know, I've not really had the pleasure of playing V1, so I don't have much of a frame of reference, but this particular distortion pedal is based around a rather famous component of a popular distortion pedal. I'm talking about the LM308 chip. Sure, ratty, I guess you could call it that, but there's so much more to this pedal than just being a rat clone. So let's take a look at the controls and see exactly what we're working with and kind of discover what the improvements are that Walrus has made. It's a pretty simple distortion pedal, and that's the way I like them. 3 knobs: volume, tone, and gain. And then, of course, with Walrus, you tend to have some clipping options. So you have a 3-way clipping selection right here on the face of the pedal. The middle position is going to be a very open clipping selection, you know, not very compressed. You get more compression when you take it to the left, and then all the way right, which we started with at the top of the video, you have the most compression. Now that affects the gain in various different ways and can lead to a whole different array of tones to choose from. So I figured let's start by going with all the knobs at noon, and we'll check out what kind of range we have with the knobs, and then we'll check out the clipping selection just to hear everything before we get started exploring. Now, with the most open setting, this thing is going to be pretty loud, and one of the new features is that it's supposed to be easier to get to unity gain with the distortion pedal. So I'm going to go ahead and strum a chord with the volume turned all the way down and the pedal on, and we'll try to find that unity gain between my clean tone and with the Iron Horse engaged. As you can hear, because it's so open, we have a decent amount of volume with the volume knob turned down all the way. Excuse me. Well, hey, that was pretty easy. Cool. Now let's check out the range of the tone and the gain knob. Now let's go over to that leftmost clipping selection, which is going to add in just a little bit of compression, so we're going to need to up the volume to match with our level. To my ears, it's just a little bit crunchier, maybe smooths out and gets a little creamier, I guess I could say. Let's check out the same sound and then go to the most compressed setting, all the way to the right. Now we're really going to need to put the volume up. Man, all that clipping in the far right selection really takes on kind of a fuzzy quality, but not kind of sputtery fuzz, something very smooth and liquid, luscious, creamy, very, very nice. It's not nearly as extreme as some of the other rat-based pedals that I've encountered in my time. So Enough of my yakking, let's get to some of my favorite sounds. I've come up with a few for all three clipping selections and can cover quite an array of different genres of music. One of the big improvements that Walrus made to the Iron Horse was by making the lower range of the distortion knob a little bit more usable. You know, typically RAT-based pedals that use this particular LM308 chip, I don't really like the low gain sounds. In fact, I don't really like RAT-style distortion pedals on low gain at all. It's just a personal preference. But the Iron Horse, I really like. It gives my amp, which has a fairly fat, somewhat dark clean tone, a little bit of crunch and brightens it up a bit for some nice jangly open chords. I'll first play without the Iron Horse and then kick that horse into high gear. And then by taking the distortion knob and going up just a little bit more, just a little past 9 o'clock, we can go to the neck pickup for some slow blues tones that have a nice sort of amp-like quality to it. We have moved on to the left side of the clipping selection for a little bit more compression and a little bit more of a fuzzy sound to the gain structure of this pedal. Now, the sound that I was going for is a little bit more of a dark, heavy, sort of doom sludge kind of sound. You know, something where you can tune your guitar down low and riff real slow. You know, you can shake the walls, maybe annoy a few neighbors, you know, if you get what I'm getting at. But at the very same time, we can brighten up that tone for something a little bit more amp-like. So let's go for that. If you want to get rid of some of that fuzziness, you can always dial the distortion back. That point, you really start to be able to get the articulation of it. You can start to hear the difference. It doesn't get so fat and sludgy. But hey, if fat and sludgy is what you want, go ahead. If you want to go big, you want to go large, you want to go fuzzy, you want to go make your amp explode, go ahead and switch over to the most clipping that you can get out of this pedal. Turn the distortion up to 3 o'clock, all the way up, and that's exactly what you have. As a matter of fact, talk about shake the walls. Big, woolly, annoy the neighbors, set off a few dogs barking down the street, make cats run away from you. You want to cause some mischief? You want to cause a ruckus? Go ahead and do that. But that's not to say that you can't get more beautiful tones out of it. So how would you do that? Well, go ahead and back off the distortion so that you're reining the horse in a little bit. Then go ahead and dial back the tone. I kind of like it around 12 o'clock. Has a nice singing quality to it so that you can really play some nice big bends and some nice melodic lines. Yeah, I went major for a little bit in a minor solo, but who cares? It's a great sound. You can hear this kind of gnarly, nasally mid-range to that. Go to the neck pickup, make it a little darker there, and you get real silky. Maybe get a little woman tone out of it. All in all, for a simple distortion pedal, this has a lot of different tones. And even when you make it as compressed and as clippy as you want it to be, it still maintains a beautiful, lyrical, liquid, creamy tone. It can be big and flubby. It can be tight and articulate. It can sing. It can scream. It's the Iron Horse. And that, my friends, is the Iron Horse V2 from Walrus Audio. You know, you can tame it, but it's much more fun to let the horse run wild and free in the field. I have had a blast exploring the tones, and I can easily see it being used in a bunch of different genres of music and a bunch of different playing situations. I may even have to try it on bass. But that is for another day. And I want to know what you guys thought of the Iron Horse. Did you think it was as versatile as I think it is? Let me know in the comments below. And be sure you click the subscribe button when you see it so you don't miss the next episode of Stompbox Saturday. And until then, my friends, I'm Sean Pierce Johnson, and I wish you all great tone and happy stomping. Cheers.